Good morning, everybody. I hope you're doing fantastically well. It is Connor here, and we are back with Leeds news. I hope you've got your coffee, your tea, and your wine, whenever you are in the world. And yeah, as I said, guys, we are here with Leeds news. A few disclaimers before we start today's video. I keep getting two certain requests. Connor, why are you doing it in the car? I'm doing it in the car because every time I film this, guys, it is about 5:30 a.m. or 6. I am not going to be doing it in my house when everybody's asleep. So that's number one. Number two, for people who are coming on here and expecting to see Leeds sign so-and-so, I'm not going to be the breaker of that news. That's how it is. You learned that with the rumour mill last summer. Leeds news is evolved version of the rumour mill. We're just talking about Leeds news. We're talking about players that are linked to Leeds United. You're getting a lot of angry people coming on here and getting upset at the fact that I've not said that we're signing certain individuals. So guys, take it with a pinch of salt. It is, of course, just the rumours that are going round on the mill about Leeds United. But without further ado, let's get into this. In the first topic of conversation, really what I wanted to discuss was Rodrigo. Now, we saw a wonderful performance from him at the weekend. He was absolutely fabulous, came off the bench, looked lively, was really good in between the lines. I didn't think he'd cause Ben Mee and Tarkowski that many problems, just because I thought it was going to be a bit more physical. We've seen with Patrick Bamford that what Bamford is able to do is stretch the play. He's able to be really combative with the centre-backs, and his off-the-ball work is absolutely phenomenal, isn't it? And that's something that I've learnt this year with Patrick Bamford, watching his game and how he's evolved, and I think it's something that a lot of Leeds fans have really started to appreciate this year. Rodrigo at the weekend seemed to give a really different dimension, and he did it against Spurs as well. It was between the centre-backs, it was running in between, it was asking for the ball deep, linking up, sort of working in a bit of a cam roll, but then playing off the defender's shoulder. He's very intelligent with his movement, and the amount of times, as I said just then, that he got between Ben Mee and Tarkowski was phenomenal. There was two other occasions as well. He also, when Roberts went through, Roberts obviously going down the central attacking midfield area, and Rodrigo once again appealed off Ben Mee. Pass him the ball, Roberts. Pass him the ball, Roberts. Roberts just shoots. Oh, he got his hat-trick. Once again, Rodrigo with some wonderful positioning. But there's reports going around this morning saying, is Rodrigo the next Pablo Hernandez? Very similar, joined Leeds at similar ages, sort of 29, 30. Pablo Hernandez in his first season scored 6 goals. Rodrigo has just hit 6 goals. And then Pablo improved. So that upward trajectory is definitely something that Rodrigo can get to, something that we're touching wood that we hope he can get to. What I will say is I don't think Rodrigo's going to be playing in that cam role. I think what we saw at the weekend, what we saw against Tottenham Hotspur, was maybe Patrick Bamford just struggling a little bit with form at this moment in time. He scored against Tottenham, but I think that's maybe 5 goals in 20 games for Patrick. He's got his get out of free jail card with 10 in 15 in the first half of the season. How brilliant he has been for Leeds United. But you do wonder, Rodrigo through on goal looks absolutely deadly. In his position, you look at his goal against Tottenham, peeling off the defender again. Very different players, but something to definitely keep an eye on. But the Pablo Hernandez impact could be a really good sort of way of putting it, but for me in different positions, because I don't think we're going to see Rodrigo in the 8 much longer, especially after our summer. So, and the next rumour, guys, or the next discussion point, Westwood and Rafinha, reports are sort of saying that Leeds United's Brazilian winger and Westwood of Burnley went into the tunnel and had a bit of an old scrappy do in the tunnel. So that's really interesting. I mean, to be honest, I thought Westwood was absolutely horrendous. I mean, he stuck one on Rafa. I think he stuck one on Clicky as well. Stuck one on Dallas. He was just a bit of a dirty, bitter little man, wasn't he? He couldn't handle the fact that he couldn't get anywhere near the ball. He's supposed to be one of Burnley's best players on the ball, and he couldn't get the ball. And Leeds were just running that midfield, absolutely running it. Clicky was unbelievable. Dallas, Phillips, absolutely superb as a trident. And yeah, he was getting frustrated, wasn't he? But there was one tackle and he went back to Rafinha and stood over him and started shouting at him, "What are you doing? Get a grip. You've lost the game. Get your big boy pants on, walk away and shake his hand." Yeah, so apparently they were involved in a spat. Westwood getting a little bit upset. There you go, big baby. As well, guys, what we spoke about yesterday on Leeds News was obviously the discussion about Newcastle coming in for Tyler Roberts. Now, A lot of people were talking about the source that I mentioned yesterday and potentially saying as soon as I heard that source, I turned it off. But this has been something that has gone on throughout the past 2 days. If you check out Tyler Roberts, Newcastle, it's not just a certain source now. It is spread to about 6 or 7. Apparently Newcastle, Mike Ashley, are weighing up a £10 million move for Tyler Roberts in the summer. And the question is, are Leeds United going to listen to that? I personally would listen to that. But obviously I'm not Leeds United. It's going to be interesting whether or not Victor Orta, Kinnear, Radrizzani, Bielsa, in fact, do that. But on the back of that, allegedly, apparently, the 2 words which don't put it in stone, Leeds United have an offer on the table for a new contract. Now, I'm really interested to hear what you guys think about that. Do you think that is a good move from Leeds United, offering Tyler Roberts a new contract? Do you think it's a little bit bizarre, us offering Tyler Roberts a new contract? Because, you know, are we going to be going out and getting better in the summer? Have we got better at the club right now? We saw Clicky in the 8 against Spurs and against Burnley, and he was very good in both games. Scored a goal, which Tyler Roberts hasn't yet. I will say Alisson has more goals than Tyler Roberts now. Am I allowed to say that? Probably not, but there you go. But yeah, no, it's one of those where I can see the neat and tidy things with Tyler Roberts. He's got better this year, I think, but that's because he's had more game time. Next year, I don't think he'll get as much game time. So if he's coming in off the bench, is he going to be able to make the same impact, you could argue, in the same games that he's had? You know, he's had some decisions go against him, of course. He's been neat and tidy in areas, and if semi-assists were a thing, he'd be good in stats, I guess, but semi-assists are not a thing at all. So, yeah, I mean, with Tyler Roberts, he's had a fair few appearances this year. It's not really worked out for him. Let me know what you think in the comment section below, guys. Would you keep him? I've seen a lot of people saying they would keep him. My question is, well, what would you do with him then? Is he going to be coming off the bench? Is he going to be happy just coming off the bench? I don't know. I think Leeds are going to strengthen and become much better in that area in the summer. I think there's players in our squad already that are better than Tyler Roberts in that position for me. Let me know in the comment section below. EMI Buendia, guys. EMI Buendia. This is the man. We just spoke about Tyler Roberts in that central attacking midfield role. This is the man who I would argue we should have gone and got instead of Rodrigo. That's what I would argue. I'm not saying it's a thing. But I would put that point out there because EMI Buendia would have sorted absolutely everything for us in that central attacking capacity. A wonderful player. Stats were off the chart when he was in the Premier League. I think for central attacking midfielders, he was in the top 5. I think he was behind De Bruyne. Absolutely insane numbers when he was there for Norwich. And it's really interesting because Stuart Webber has essentially said, and we all know this about Norwich because we've seen the likes of James Maddison, who was the individual, but the collective is more important, you know. And allegedly the door is open for Buendia to leave Norwich this summer. And I think Norwich wouldn't really they'd have a choice in accepting the bid, of course, but accepting or rejecting the bid. But I do think if you're getting a big number come in for someone like Buendia, Norwich are always the style of club who are going to sell that player. You know, there's been history of them doing it, regardless what level they're at. So I do think if you get a big club coming in for EMI Buendia, slapping some money down, Norwich will accept it. And Webber has come out, Stuart Webber, the director of football at Norwich, has said, as I've said, the collective is over the individual. 34 million though, that is the quoted price. Would you go and get EMI Buendia for 34 million? I don't know if it's a lot of money. It's a lot of money, but what you're doing is you're buying potential. You know, you look at the age of him. Argentinian, would fit in perfectly with Bielsa. I think he's a wonderful player, and I would be looking at 30 million if we can negotiate with him. Obviously, I don't know the Leeds expenses, but there was discussion yesterday that Leeds can't finish below 11th, which means that Leeds, just from the Premier League and deals that they're involved in, Leeds are going to walk away this season with 120 million just from that. And that's not even the pockets of Radrizzani, the 49ers, player sales. So I think Leeds are going to be in with some decent cash to spend this summer. So yeah, I think EMI Buendia will be a shout. I think he's a wonderful player, and he is a talent because he's still got so many years ahead of him. Let me know in the comment section below what you think, guys. And just a few bookies things to end on. Who Leeds are linked with? Leeds are linked with Ross Barkley now, 10-1. Would you? Absolutely no for me. Yeah, he's got the work ethic of a crippled snail. Not for me. He was decent at Villa for the first bit of it, but then he's tailed off. I think there's a serious attitude there. and I would not be looking at Ross Barkley. But I've actually heard some of you guys say on these videos that you would take Ross Barkley. So let me know in the comment section below exactly who you would go for. Would you go for Ross Barkley? Leeds are also 16-1 for Ousmane Dembele. Interesting. Obviously, he was having the social media thing with Melier, wasn't he? Apparently, that he's a big fan of Bamford. He loves being Leeds on FIFA. He loves watching Leeds. So apparently, he's 16-1. That could be absolute poppycock. We know it could. And Ainsley Maitland-Niles has been reduced to 4-1 on Sky Bet. Really interesting. 4-1, some good odds. And guess who he's joined with on 4-1? Rodrigo de Paul. That'll never go away, will it? But guys, thank you so much for tuning in to the video. Now listen, we're going to have, obviously we'll be doing the Leeds news tomorrow morning, but we're going to be touching on your Southampton game, of course, tomorrow morning. As you can tell, the fixture list is coming thick and fast for Leeds United now, Tuesday and Sunday, so the content does morph a little bit. So thank you so much for your support. I've not asked you already, guys, so I don't like plummeting the video with these things, but if you wouldn't mind liking the video, if you wouldn't mind subscribing to the channel if you're new, it is massively, massively appreciated. It really helps, and as I say, it's an indicator that what you're doing, what I'm doing, you're enjoying, and we've got some big things coming for you on match day as well, some things that I've been sorting out behind the scenes, so hopefully you'll enjoy that. Thank you so much, guys, and I'll see you in a bit. Cheers.